Russia's space program may be a shadow of its former self, but President Vladimir Putin hasn't stopped flexing his country's orbital muscles. In just the past few weeks, a swirl of rocket launches, secret military cargo, mysterious objects deployed in space, and a dance of satellites nearly 4 miles above Earth has drawn the eyes of analysts around the globe. Taken individually, any one of these odd maneuvers would raise eyebrows. Viewed together, they mark Russia's biggest military space surge since the Cold War era, all despite falling drastically behind the US and China, both in space technology and the number of launches. Russia has only managed 8 launches so far this year, a record low since the days of Gagarin. Compare that with over 100 US launches and 30 from China, it's a huge gap. Decades ago, Russian cosmonauts and rockets soared thanks to financial help from Western countries. That money dried up after the invasion of Ukraine, and now the Russian space industry has lost access to key parts and is scrambling just to stay active. Their big dreams, like reusable rockets, new cruise ships, and their own Starlink-like mega constellations, are stalling. So, what's left for Moscow to do in space? They're aiming for the one place where they can still make an impact, by keeping the US military guessing. Last year, US officials warned that Russia may be eyeing the ultimate threat, a nuclear weapon in space capable of disabling satellites across the globe. No nuke has launched yet, and Russia denied the plot, but then vetoed a UN resolution reaffirming the 50-year-long ban on weapons of mass destruction in orbit. Instead of nukes, Russia's focusing on more subtle anti-satellite tactics. In 2021, they blew up one of their own satellites with a ground-launched missile, showering space with debris. Now their spacecraft are shadowing US spy satellites, creeping ever closer while American officials grow increasingly uneasy. While the US and China build up their satellite fleets to boost military strength on the ground, targeting, communications, real-time strikes, Russia seems determined to bring the fight into orbit. 3 of Russia's 8 launches this year fit this dangerous profile, secret payloads that could be anti-satellite weapons or prototypes for such technologies. Take the launch on May 23rd. A Soyuz rocket put a satellite, Kosmos 2588, almost exactly in the path of USA 338, a prized American Keyhole-class surveillance satellite. These Keyhole satellites are the US government's most valuable eyes in space, tracking every move at airfields, ports, missile sites, you name it. Getting close to one could let Russia snoop, disrupt, or even destroy. To understand how Russia pulls off these orbital near misses, picture Earth's satellites moving in invisible, fixed sheets across the sky. Sending a satellite to tail another takes careful timing and fuel. Russia's Nivelir program, named after a surveyor's optical tool, is designed precisely for this. When Earth's rotation brings Russia's Plesetsk cosmodrome in line with a Keyhole satellite's orbit, Nivelir satellites take off, slotting perfectly into place. 4 have launched since 2019, all carefully shadowing US targets as Earth spins below. These Russians aren't just accidentally drifting alongside US satellites, they stay in close formation, keeping pace even when the US tries to edge away. And there's a clear escalation. A few weeks ago, a Russian Nivelir named Kosmos 2558 suddenly ejected a new object, right next to another American spy satellite, USA 326. It's not the first time. In 2019, Kosmos 2542 launched a sub-satellite beside a Keyhole, then fired off a fast-moving projectile, proving these machines can do much more than watch. Now, Kosmos 2558's newly released Object C is dipping into a close orbit with USA 326 every few days, chasing its American counterpart at hair-raising proximity. What's Moscow after? American analysts offer different theories. Are these satellites just neighborhood patrol inspections, or are they potential threats, lying in wait for a future crisis? Some experts wonder if this tactic makes sense. By launching a satellite into orbit that matches a single US target, Russia is essentially placing all its chips on one bet, a single possible victim. If things heated up, a ground-launched missile would have the flexibility to strike anywhere. These Nivelir satellites don't. Is it showmanship or genuine menace? Either way, American military trackers are paying close attention. If Russia's goal is intimidation or annoyance, it's working. This tension harks back to the old spy games. For Russia, American spy satellites have always been a sore spot, ever since the Soviets shot down U-2 pilot Gary Powers in 1960. "We're going to keep those Americans from spying on us," went the refrain. When satellites took up the role, Russia's irritation only grew. Recent moves signal that, in space, the old cultural adversary remains. Meanwhile, Moscow isn't just stalking American satellites. 3 more Russian satellites, Kosmos 2581, 2582, and 2583, have been performing an elaborate orbital ballet since launching together in February. One of them released an unknown object, and all 3 have since been zipping within meters of each other. Space watchers call this one of Russia's most intricate proximity operations since the Cold War. But the orchestration goes higher. In June, Russia's Angara-AV rocket, the biggest it's built in decades, carried a military payload, Kosmos 2589, into an odd orbit swinging from 12,500 to 31,700 miles above Earth. This path crosses the geostationary belt twice a day, passing near dozens of US and Allied satellites before swooping away. Even more intriguing, a few days later, commercial sensors spotted a second object dancing close behind. Both satellites raise and lower their orbits in sync. Is Russia preparing to extend its anti-satellite reach into higher orbits? Some experts suspect these 2 satellites might work together as spotter and shooter, a new threat for US and Western satellites quietly cruising above the equator. Historically, Russia hasn't focused on operating in this geostationary belt, since its launch sites are far north. But the geopolitical landscape has changed, and now tracking, monitoring, or even attacking Western satellites up there seems increasingly possible. Think of it as the classic thriller, The Hunt for Red October, except the chess match is playing out in the vacuum of space, not the depths of the North Atlantic. The rules are new, the stakes higher, and old adversaries are bringing their gamesmanship into orbit. Just as Commander Marco Ramius once declared, "Once more, we play our dangerous game, a game of chess, against our old adversary." Today, the board isn't the ocean, it's the expanse overhead, where satellites stalk and secrets unfold quietly, just out of view. The space race, it seems, never really ended. It just moved into quieter, far more mysterious territory.